Plant and animal structures in different ecosystems. Plants and animals must adapt or change to survive in their ecosystems. Structures help organisms, that's plants and animals, meet their needs of shelter, food, water, and air in their environment. Today we're going to explore the desert and the forest ecosystems and what structures plants and animals have that help them survive. The first ecosystem we're looking at is the desert. What is a desert? It's a region that receives an extremely low amount of precipitation. That's rain or snow. It's less than enough to support the growth of most plants. So it's a really tough ecosystem to survive in. Texas deserts receive less than 25 centimeters of rain a year. Texas deserts can have very hot days and cool evenings. So how do desert plants survive? Some desert plants have long taproots, as shown here, that go deep to hold water. Other desert plants, as shown here, have adapted to the weather by having wide spreading, you can see they're really wide here, shallow roots to absorb water from a greater area of the ground. The stems of many desert plants feel waxy. This is to hold in moisture. Some desert plants store water in their leaves, their roots, and their stems. Desert plants often have small, spiny leaves. They are designed to reduce water loss in the plant and protect it from being eaten as it holds lots of water. And how do desert animals survive? Well, many desert animals have pale colors, as shown in all of these three organisms. Why? To camouflage them against rocks and sand. Lighter colors also help keep them cool. Some desert animals have large ears and long legs, as shown here in this desert rodent and in this jackrabbit, to expose skin so they can release, that means let go, of excess or extra heat. Most desert animals, like the javelina and the tortoise, have thick, tough lips to get water from the plants and animals that they eat, as shown in this photograph. Many desert animals have strong, wide feet to dig or burrow under rocks and in the sand to stay cool and for protection from other animals. Many desert animals rest during the day and come out at night. They are nocturnal. However, there are also predators out for food at that time. Some animals have wider, fatter tails, as shown in this lizard gecko. They store extra food in their bodies as fat when food and water are difficult to find. Now we're going to compare the desert ecosystem to a forest ecosystem. So first, what's a forest? A forest or woods has many trees. Forests support large communities of plants and animals. Forests have cold winters and warm, wet summers. Most trees lose their leaves each fall to survive the freezing temperatures. The trees and plants grow new leaves each spring when warmer temperatures return. So how do forest plants survive? Some plants, such as vines, have tendrils, as shown here, to grab onto other plants so they can climb towards sunlight away from the shade of tall trees. Some plants have thorns, as shown here, to keep predators from eating or trampling the whole plant. Some trees have broad leaves, as shown here. These wide leaves help absorb water and sunlight. Forest animals. How do they survive in the forest? Many animals have long legs to jump or run fast, like monkeys, deer, and rabbits. Other animals, like squirrels and raccoons, have claws to climb trees or dig under the roots, as shown here. Some animals can't run away quickly, so they have hard shells or skin to hide from predators, like the armadillo and the turtle. They only leave their hard armor out, which few animals can bite through. If a forest animal can't run away or hide, it can use distraction as protection. In this photograph, the white-tailed deer flicks its tail in one direction and runs in the opposite direction, making the predator waste time by running in the wrong direction. The forest lizard will drop its tail to get away from predators, as shown in this photograph. It will grow back and helps keep the lizard safe. Some animals that live in the forest need to find shelter under the ground during the cold winter. This is called hibernation. Others move away from the winter, migration. Other forest animals grow thicker fur, as shown in this wolf, that turns white in the winter for cold weather and camouflage protection. Now it's time to check for understanding. You are going to determine whether the animal adaptation is more useful in a forest or a desert environment. Long ears and legs. That structure is most helpful in a desert in a desert ecosystem. Why? Because if you have long legs, you can quickly run away from predators. If you have long ears, it helps release or remove the excess heat that's in the desert ecosystem. Pale colors. It's more useful in a desert ecosystem. Why? Because it helps animals camouflage and it also helps them stay cool from the harsh heat of the desert. Sharp, pointy claws. That is most helpful in a forest ecosystem. Small animals like squirrels and raccoons have sharp, pointy claws to quickly run up trees and get away from predators. Thick, wide claws. This is most helpful in a desert ecosystem. Why? Because animals can more easily dig deep into the hard desert soil so that they can stay warm, they can stay cool from the harsh heat of the desert, and it also serves as protection from predators. Thicker white fur. This is most helpful in a forest ecosystem. Some, some animals like the forest fox change fur color so that it helps them camouflage. So brown in the warmer weather and white fur during the winter. Tough, thick lips. This is most helpful in the desert ecosystem. So some animals like the javelina have these thick, tough lips so they can munch and chew on hard plants like cactus. Wide, fat tails. This structure is most helpful in the desert ecosystem. Remember that some animals, like desert lizards, store fat in their tails, which they can use for energy or food when there isn't many resources around. So what did we learn? Animal structures are body parts that help an animal or a plant survive in its environment. We've discussed some forest structures that help animals and some desert structures that help animals survive.